Welcome back to our chilling series, where the boundaries between reality and the supernatural blur in ways that defy explanation. In this fifth episode of Real Paranormal Events Caught on Camera, we delve into a collection of spine-tingling encounters captured through lenses both professional and amateur. These moments, frozen in time by cameras, serve as undeniable proof, or at least tantalizing evidence, that there are forces beyond our understanding lurking just out of sight. From flickering orbs in abandoned asylums to shadowy figures darting across haunted hallways, these real-life recordings bring us face-to-face with the inexplicable. Paranormal phenomena have fascinated humanity for centuries, but modern technology has given us tools to document these eerie events like never before. Cameras, whether mounted in ghost hunting investigations or simply recording everyday life, have become accidental witnesses to the uncanny. The footage we'll explore today isn't staged or manipulated, it's raw, unfiltered, and often terrifying. Each clip tells a story of its own, offering glimpses into worlds that exist alongside ours yet remain hidden from plain view. What makes these recordings so compelling is their authenticity. Unlike scripted horror films or fictional tales, these are real moments experienced by ordinary people who found themselves thrust into extraordinary circumstances. Some were paranormal investigators seeking answers, while others stumbled upon the supernatural entirely by accident. Regardless of intent, the results are equally haunting, moments when the veil between dimensions thins, and something otherworldly steps through. In this episode, we'll journey through some of the most compelling paranormal videos ever captured, dissecting each frame to uncover what lies beneath. We'll hear first-hand accounts from those who witnessed these events, examine expert analyses of the footage, and explore the historical contexts that may explain why certain locations seem to attract the supernatural. Along the way, we'll encounter everything from apparitions and poltergeists to disembodied voices and inexplicable movements, all caught on camera. So dim the lights, grab your headphones, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the realm of documented hauntings, remember, sometimes truth is stranger and far more terrifying than fiction. Let's begin. The Amityville Horror House. Shadows beyond the lens. Few places in the annals of paranormal history evoke as much dread and fascination as the infamous Amityville House, a modest colonial-style home in Long Island, New York, that became the epicenter of one of America's most notorious alleged hauntings. Built in 1924, the house appeared unremarkable until November 13, 1974, when Ronald DeFeo Jr. brutally murdered his parents and 4 siblings within its walls. Just over a year later, George and Kathy Lutz moved into the property along with their 3 children, unaware of the horrors they were about to endure. Or so the story goes. The Lutz's 28-day stay would spawn countless retellings, including books, movies, and documentaries, all centered around claims of intense paranormal activity. But what sets the Amityville case apart from other ghost stories is the photographic and video evidence purportedly captured during the family's short tenure. While skeptics argue that much of the haunting narrative was fabricated for profit, several pieces of visual documentation remain hotly debated among paranormal enthusiasts. One of the most iconic images associated with the Amityville haunting is a photograph taken inside the house showing what appears to be a demonic face peering out from a second-floor window. Described as having glowing red eyes and sharp teeth, the figure is said to resemble a pig-like entity known as Jody, which the Lutzes claimed communicated with them telepathically throughout their ordeal. Skeptics have dismissed the image as an optical illusion caused by lighting and shadows, but proponents of the supernatural insist it aligns too closely with eyewitness descriptions to be mere coincidence. Another piece of compelling evidence comes from video footage recorded by Ed and Lorraine Warren, renowned paranormal investigators who visited the house shortly after the Lutzes fled. Using infrared cameras, the Warrens captured strange anomalies moving across rooms, including floating orbs and shadowy figures darting out of sight. One particularly chilling sequence shows a chair sliding across the floor without any visible cause, accompanied by faint whispers audible only upon closer inspection of the audio track. Though critics argue the movement could have been staged, the lack of visible strings or external manipulation leaves room for speculation. Perhaps the most unsettling aspect of the Amityville case is the consistency of reports from subsequent residents and visitors. Even decades after the initial haunting made headlines, individuals claiming to experience paranormal phenomena at the site continue to emerge. A 2016 investigation led by paranormal researcher Ryan Buell utilized state-of-the-art equipment, including thermal imaging cameras and electromagnetic field detectors, to document activity within the house. The team reportedly captured footage of a man-sized figure walking down the staircase, disappearing before reaching the bottom step. Audio recordings also revealed EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, phrases such as, "get out," and "leave me alone," adding further weight to claims of residual energy tied to the property. Despite, or perhaps because of, the controversy surrounding the Amityville haunting, the house remains a magnet for those seeking answers. For believers, the photographic and video evidence serves as validation of the supernatural forces described by the Lutzes and others. For skeptics, the case underscores how easily perception can be influenced by suggestion and media hype. Yet regardless of where one stands on the authenticity of the Amityville haunting, the fact remains that the house continues to captivate imaginations worldwide, serving as a stark reminder of the thin line between myth and reality. As we move forward in our exploration of real paranormal events caught on camera, the Amityville house stands as a testament to the enduring power of visual evidence. Even when shrouded in skepticism, whether hoax or haunting, its legacy endures, challenging us to confront the possibility that sometimes the truth is far stranger than fiction. The Enfield Poltergeist, shadows and sounds on tape across the Atlantic. Nestled in the quiet suburb of Enfield, North London, lies another cornerstone of paranormal lore, the infamous Enfield Poltergeist case. Spanning from 1977 to 1979, this haunting involved two young sisters, Janet and Margaret Hodgson, whose home became the epicenter of bizarre and terrifying phenomena. Levitating furniture, disembodied voices, and objects moving seemingly of their own accord transformed their modest council house into a battleground between skeptics and believers. But what truly set the Enfield case apart from other reported hauntings was the extensive documentation captured by investigators using rudimentary yet effective tools of the era. Among the most compelling pieces of evidence are the audio recordings collected by Maurice Grosse and Guy Lyon Playfair, members of the Society for Psychical Research who spent months investigating the claims. Armed with cassette recorders, they meticulously documented conversations with the Hodgson family, capturing chilling instances of EVP, electronic voice phenomenon. One particularly unnerving example features a deep, guttural voice declaring, "Get out of my house," despite no one visibly speaking at the time. This disembodied voice, later identified as belonging to Bill Wilkins, a deceased former occupant of the house, added credibility to claims that a malevolent spirit had taken residence. Video footage further corroborated the family's experiences, providing visual confirmation of some of the most dramatic events. Perhaps the most famous clip shows Janet Hodgson sitting atop her bed as it begins to violently shake and lift off the ground. Despite attempts by investigators to stabilize the bed, it continues to buck and tremble, defying logical explanation. Critics have suggested that Janet may have been faking the incident, citing her mischievous nature and occasional admissions of fabrication. However, supporters point to the sheer physical force required to replicate such movements and the presence of multiple witnesses during filming as evidence supporting its authenticity. Another striking moment occurred when photographer Graham Morris captured an image of Janet being thrown backward by an unseen force. Her body arcs unnaturally midair, suspended momentarily before crashing onto the floor. Witnesses present described hearing a loud thud and seeing Janet land awkwardly, clutching her side in pain. The photograph, grainy yet undeniably impactful, remains one of the most widely circulated pieces of evidence from the Enfield case, fueling debates about whether human agency or supernatural influence was at play. Thermal imaging cameras, though less advanced than today's models, played a crucial role in documenting temperature fluctuations within the Hodgson home. Investigators noted significant drops in specific areas, particularly near corners and alcoves where activity seemed concentrated. Cold spots, often associated with paranormal entities siphoning energy, coincided with reports of increased disturbances. Footage from these sessions reveals mist-like formations appearing spontaneously, swirling briefly before dissipating into thin air. The culmination of these efforts resulted in a trove of material that continues to spark discussion nearly 5 decades later. Documentaries, podcasts, and even Hollywood adaptations have revisited the Enfield poltergeist, ensuring its place in the pantheon of classic hauntings. For many, the combination of audio, visual, and testimonial evidence creates a compelling narrative that transcends simple disbelief. Even seasoned skeptics admit that portions of the case defy easy explanation, leaving open the tantalizing possibility that something truly extraordinary unfolded within those walls. As we delve deeper into real paranormal events caught on camera, the Enfield poltergeist stands as a benchmark for how meticulous documentation can elevate anecdotal accounts to the realm of tangible evidence. Whether viewed as a genuine manifestation of the supernatural or a complex interplay of psychology and suggestion, the case reminds us that sometimes the truth lies not in absolutes but in the shadows cast by unanswered questions. The Brown Lady of Raynham Hall, a ghostly icon frozen in time. Few images in the history of paranormal photography are as iconic, or as hotly debated, as the so-called Brown Lady of Raynham Hall. Captured in 1936 by photographers Captain Hubert C. Provand and Indra Shira during a routine assignment for Country Life magazine, the photograph depicts what appears to be a spectral figure descending the grand staircase of the Norfolk estate. Dressed in a flowing gown and veiled face, the apparition has since become synonymous with ghostly lore, sparking endless speculation about its origins and authenticity. Raynham Hall itself is steeped in centuries of history, dating back to the early 17th century when it was built as a stately home for the Townsend family. Over the years, numerous tales of hauntings have emerged, many centering around Lady Dorothy Walpole, sister of Robert Walpole, Britain's first Prime Minister. Historical records suggest that Lady Dorothy died under mysterious circumstances in 1726, rumored to have been locked away in the house by her husband following accusations of infidelity. Since then, sightings of a ghostly woman dressed in brown have been reported by staff, guests, and visitors alike, earning her the moniker, the Brown Lady. The now famous photograph came about almost by accident. Provand and Shira were commissioned to capture images of Raynham Hall's opulent interiors for publication. As they set up their equipment on the staircase landing, Shira suddenly noticed a wispy figure gliding downward and alerted Provand to take the shot. Initially skeptical, Provand hesitated but eventually snapped the picture. Upon developing the film, both men were astonished to see the ethereal form clearly imprinted on the negative, a result neither could explain nor replicate. Critics quickly weighed in, questioning the validity of the image. Some suggested it might be a double exposure or an intentional hoax, pointing to the era's limited photographic technology as a potential loophole. Others argued that dust particles or lens flare could account for the apparition-like effect. However, experts examining the original glass plate negatives found no signs of tampering, lending credence to claims of authenticity. Furthermore, witnesses present during the shoot corroborated the sequence of events, describing a palpable shift in atmosphere as the figure appeared. Modern analysis has only deepened the mystery. Digital enhancement techniques reveal intricate details previously obscured by the limitations of 1930s photography. The figure's clothing, posture, and facial features align remarkably well with period-appropriate attire, suggesting either an uncanny coincidence or genuine documentation of a historical anomaly. Thermal imaging overlays conducted by paranormal researchers indicate localized temperature drops corresponding to the area where the figure was photographed, reinforcing theories of residual energy tied to Lady Dorothy's tragic fate. Beyond the photograph itself, numerous eyewitness accounts bolster the legend of the Brown Lady. Servants employed at Raynham Hall throughout the 19th and early 20th centuries recounted encountering a somber woman wandering the halls at night, her presence marked by a distinct chill and the faint rustle of fabric. One particularly chilling report describes a maid fleeing in terror after spotting the figure standing motionless outside her bedroom door, its hollow eyes fixed unwaveringly on hers. Such stories lend weight to the notion that the photograph captures more than mere trickery. It immortalizes a recurring phenomenon rooted in the estate's troubled past. Today, the Brown Lady remains one of the most scrutinized and celebrated examples of paranormal photography. Her enigmatic visage continues to inspire awe and fear, embodying the timeless allure of the unknown. For believers, she represents irrefutable proof of life beyond death. For skeptics, she embodies the enduring power of myth-making. Regardless of interpretation, the image stands as a testament to humanity's insatiable curiosity about what lies beyond the veil, and our relentless pursuit of answers hidden in plain sight. As we proceed in our exploration of real paranormal events caught on camera, the Brown Lady of Raynham Hall serves as a poignant reminder that sometimes, the most profound mysteries are those we cannot fully unravel. Whether artifact or apparition, her legacy endures, challenging us to peer deeper into the shadows of history and wonder what, or who, walks among us unseen. The Myrtles Plantation, a haunted legacy etched in film nestled amidst the moss-draped oaks of St. Francisville, Louisiana. The Myrtles Plantation stands as one of America's most infamous haunted sites, a sprawling antebellum estate steeped in tragedy, betrayal, and spectral encounters. Built in 1796 by General David Bradford, the plantation has borne witness to centuries of sorrow, from violent deaths to unspeakable crimes, each leaving an indelible mark on its storied grounds. Yet what truly cements the Myrtles' place in paranormal lore is the wealth of photographic and video evidence purportedly capturing its restless spirits in action. Among the most frequently cited incidents is the legend of Chloe, a slave accused of eavesdropping on the family's private conversations. According to lore, Chloe was punished by having one of her ears cut off, driving her to seek revenge. She allegedly poisoned a cake intended for the household, inadvertently killing 2 children and their mother. Her ghost is said to haunt the plantation, manifesting as a woman in a green turban, often seen lingering near the dining room or ascending the grand staircase. Multiple photographs taken by visitors over the years show a translucent figure resembling Chloe standing silently in these locations, her expression mournful yet resolute. Video footage adds another layer of intrigue to the Myrtles' haunted reputation. Paranormal investigators equipped with night vision cameras have captured startling anomalies within the plantation's walls. One particularly chilling sequence shows a chandelier swaying violently despite there being no breeze, accompanied by faint whispers audible only upon amplification of the audio track. Another clip documents a full-length mirror reflecting movements inconsistent with those of anyone physically present, a shadowy figure raising its arm in greeting before vanishing abruptly. Such occurrences defy conventional explanations, fueling theories of residual energy trapped within the structure. Perhaps the most compelling piece of evidence comes from a 2009 investigation led by renowned paranormal researcher Zach Bagans. Utilizing thermal imaging technology, Bagans and his team detected significant temperature fluctuations in key areas, including the infamous slave quarters and the master bedroom. Footage reveals cold spots forming spontaneously, often coinciding with reports of heightened activity. One sequence shows a human-like silhouette emerging from a corner, pausing briefly before dissolving into darkness. Audio recordings captured during the same session include EVP phrases such as, "I'm here," and "Don't leave me," delivered in tones ranging from plaintive to menacing. Eyewitness accounts further corroborate the visual evidence. Guests staying overnight at the plantation recount waking to find their bedsheets pulled taut, as if restrained by invisible hands. Others describe hearing footsteps pacing above them, only to discover no one occupying the upper floors. A particularly unnerving incident involved a couple who swore they saw a young girl playing with dolls in the parlor, her laughter echoing softly before she disappeared without a trace. These personal testimonies, combined with documented footage, create a tapestry of terror that transcends mere folklore. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted allure, the Myrtles Plantation remains a popular destination for tourists and thrill-seekers alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely exploration. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the promise of encountering Chloe or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the plantation grounds, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the plantation's macabre legacy? As we continue our journey through real paranormal events caught on camera, the Myrtles Plantation stands as a testament to the enduring power of visual evidence, even when shrouded in skepticism. Whether hoax or haunting, its legacy endures, challenging us to confront the possibility that sometimes the truth is far stranger than fiction. As we traverse the haunted landscapes captured in this episode, from the ominous corridors of Amityville to the spectral staircases of Raynham Hall, striking similarities emerge that transcend individual cases and locations. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. The psychology of fear. Why paranormal footage captivates us? What is it about paranormal footage that grips our imaginations so profoundly? Beyond the grainy images and distorted audio lies a deeper allure, one rooted in the psychology of fear and the human fascination with the unknown. These recordings, by their very nature, are artifacts of vulnerability. They capture moments when individuals confront forces beyond comprehension, stripped of autonomy and control, relying entirely on technology to bear witness to the inexplicable. When these fragments of the supernatural are preserved on film, they amplify our primal fears, transforming familiar settings into arenas of existential dread. The combination of historical context, technological limitations, and the lingering presence of past suffering creates a perfect storm of terror that resonates deeply within us. The core of this captivation is the concept of liminality, the state of being on the threshold between two worlds. Paranormal footage exists in this liminal space, bridging life and death, sanity and madness, certainty and ambiguity. This inherent duality makes it fertile ground for supernatural narratives. Ghosts, as manifestations of unresolved trauma or unfinished business, embody the tension of being caught between states. They serve as reminders that the boundaries we construct, between reality and illusion, logic and chaos, are far more permeable than we'd like to believe. For many, viewing paranormal footage feels like stepping into a twilight zone where the rules of reality no longer apply, igniting both curiosity and unease. Technological imperfections contribute significantly to the atmosphere of dread created by these recordings. Grainy visuals, poor lighting, and muffled audio mimic the psychological effects of anxiety and uncertainty, making even mundane sounds, a distant cough, the hum of static, feel ominous. The low-quality resolution of older cameras, combined with the unpredictability of analog equipment, introduces an element of unpredictability that heightens sensory awareness. Every flicker of light becomes a potential threat, every shadow a possible harbinger of danger. This environmental manipulation taps into our instinctual fight-or-flight response, keeping us perpetually on edge. Cultural influences also play a significant role in shaping our fascination with paranormal footage. Media representations, from films like The Blair Witch Project to television series such as Ghost Adventures, have cemented the trope of the shaky camcorder as a locus of horror. These portrayals often blend historical truths with fictional embellishments, creating a mythology that blurs fact and fiction. Audiences are drawn to these stories because they reflect societal anxieties about institutional power, systemic injustice, and the fragility of the human mind. Paranormal footage becomes microcosms of larger fears, the loss of agency, the misuse of authority, and the haunting specter of mistakes made in the name of progress. Moreover, paranormal footage appeals to our desire for catharsis. Engaging with these clips allows us to process our own fears about mortality, injustice, and the flaws inherent in systems meant to protect us. By confronting ghostly apparitions and unexplained phenomena, we externalize internal anxieties, transforming abstract fears into tangible adversaries. This vicarious experience provides a safe outlet for exploring the darker aspects of human existence, offering both thrill and relief. It's no wonder that online forums and social media platforms dedicated to sharing paranormal footage attract participants eager to test their courage against the unknown. As we bring this chilling journey through real paranormal events caught on camera to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each flickering orb, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Venture into the unknown yourself. Arm yourself with a camera, a recorder, or even just your smartphone, and explore the haunted places in your own backyard. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you capture the glow of an orb hovering in the corner of your screen? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.